Thanks a lot for being inviting. It's a good thing for us, for me. Alexandre told you yesterday his English was weak. My English is catastrophic, so I apologize by advance. So I manage a scientific team in Port-Cros National Park. So you have a picture of the harbor of Port-Cros here. Port-Cros was the second national park in France. In France, you can find 10 national parks. It was created in 1963. So it's 50 years this year in 2013. Port-Cros is a little island. It's a little island at 8 kilometers from the coast. And the national park is a zone 600 meters all around the island. So we have 300,000 visitors by year, and our mission is protect biodiversity and open it for. So we have a managing growing to use, and it's difficult to welcome each year 300,000 leisure boats, 60,000 divers, and half of the divers are here on Gabinière Island, a hotspot of diving in Mediterranean Sea. And we have artisanal fishing too in the national park. So legislation is is not simple. So I just show you, but don't read it. And I will explain some aspects further. So first, the park was created in Port-Cros in 1863, but the national park work on different territories. The France buy 80% of the terrestrial surface of Port-Cros in 1974. So the national park was we asked us to manage the terrestrial zone, and we have action on properties of state here, on salt marshes here and here, and we are operator for the Natura 2000 program for the 3 islands: Port-Cros, Port-Cros, Levant Island, and the salt marshes. So we are animator for Pelagos, France, the sanctuary for marine mammals. So everything has changed in 2012, and now the actual park is the island of Port-Cros and marine zone, but now Port-Cros Island too, and we have a buffer zone or a big zone to manage to promote sustainable developments between Saint-Tropez ici and Toulon ici. Here, sorry. So it's important because we began to work in Port-Cros in the 60s, but only in Port-Cros, in marine zone of Port-Cros, early 2000. And I will explain you the difference for strategy to control collapse. So in Port-Cros and Port-Cros, we have a lot of natural habitats, and the first is Posidonia oceanica seagrass meadows, half of the surface of the marine zone. We have a lot of natural heritage species, 90. So we have a great program of carrier inventories and monitorings. We study a lot of things, dusky grouper, brown meager, and so on. And we each year we completed 25 studies. It's researchers who are working for us who made these studies. We are working with divers and professional fishermen, and we have a charter between the national park and these users, so they can practice in the territory of the national park, but they have specific rules, and they need to give us the data of where they are diving, when, what they are fishing for the fishermen, and we made a survey too on the netting, the fishing nets, and we know where are the fishermen and what do they fish. We make survey on anchoring, so we are able to say most of the boats are here and not here, and so on. So in Port-Cros we have two main invasive species, Colappa taxifolia and Colappa racemosa, and other, Voma celaria, cetacea, and Acutamion praesei, and so on. For the Colappa racemosa, scientists told us it's impossible to fight against this species, so because it have sexual reproduction, so we don't do anything to fight again. But it's a very great problem because this species is anywhere. But Colappa taxifolia, we could do something, and we do something. So I will show you some aspects. I will talk you about strategy, prospection, eradication, control, and show you some results. For Port-Cros, I told you Port-Cros is far from the continent, 8 kilometers, and the depth between continent and the island is more than 45 meters, so there's no risk that the Colappa come alone on the island. We organized the first detection mission in the early 19th, and we found it in Port-Cros in 94. So immediately, our scientific committee, Alexandre Menez is a member of the scientific committee, our boarding, government boarding, not conseil d'administration, administration, and our director decide that we have to control and eradicate this algae. So we first we eradicate it in the same year. For Port-Cros, the strategy is simple: none, never, nowhere. So I gave you a map more simple of Port-Cros, and you see here the diving zone in orange. So in this zone, there's a lot of divers, and we know if they're Colappa taxifolia, immediately we are aware, so no problem. On this zone, there's no mooring, so in this zone, there's no Colappa taxifolia. So for our strategy, we decide to primarily target the main mooring zones here on the east and near the Bay of Port-Cros and the harbor. In Port-Cros, the situation is not so simple, because Port-Cros is 2 kilometers far from continent only, and the depth between continent and the island is less than 20 meters. So Taxifolia can become naturally around the island. And when we began to work in the Marine Park of Port-Cros, it was for Natura 1000 program, European program. It was only at the beginning of the 1000th year. So the situation was catastrophic because the zone in red was highly covered with Colappa taxifolia, level 3 of contamination, and the zone in green, level 2 of contamination. So the fight was impossible in this zone. So we decided, and the progression was on all the direction. On Port-Cros, we knew where was the heritage species and habitat, and it's mainly the south part of the island. We study, we knew too where was the users, and artisanal fishing was on the same zone. That's an evidence. And diving spot was on the north of the island and on the west. So we decided that these 3 zones will be free of Colappa taxifolia. And we organize detection mission research around this zone. Here there are a lot of divers here too, so there's no problem. And our mission are here, and in this zone. When we decide this strategy, we take some associated measure, regulation on these 3 zones, no mooring in the 3 zones, and on the diving sites here and here, we install mooring buoys for divers, and we have laser fishing restricted in this zone, and prohibited in this one. So it's important to have measures that come with the strategy. And we began to work with our partners to be sure that we have an agreement of them that what we were making. So each year we have volunteers, divers volunteers, they help us to research and fight against Colappa taxifolia. Each year, 20 to 40 are coming with us and help us to find the Colappa. We offer them to sleep and to eat and to dive free, so they stay 4 days on the island, and then it's like holidays for us, and for us it's permit us to find the Colappa. But in France, since 2011, a new regulation appeared, and they must be professional divers. So it's not easy, but we find someone are professional divers. And we have each year we have the support of a scientist, a diver of the University of Nice, the team of Alexandre Ménez. So the strategy is to detect the algae in the fall, in October, first week of October, because it's the period where its development is maximum. And the main way to fight against this algae is to find it when she is small and to eradicate. So it's very important to act immediately and do not wait for us, think, discuss, and all. When there's a problem, we eradicate the algae. So we make protection with search lines. Here you can have a look to a line of divers. It's 10 to 20 divers, one line. Sometimes two lines, one inside another line. One diver and the other between two divers, 5 meters. And the divers will be between 1 and 2 meters of the seafloor. And I'm looking for Colapax exuria and groupers or Inanababies or Rorets watch. Everybody wants to find a Rorets. I never found it. The end of the line. And on this line, 3 divers have a compass to give the good direction here at one extremity and the other, and at the middle of the line. The cap, the direction decided on the surface, and when we are at the bottom, we can change the cap depending on it depends on the current and other. The diver at the center is more important because he can stop the line by tension on the rope, can restart the line, can regulate the speed. So it's the more graduate, more better diver is at the center of the line. And the divers above at both ends stretch the rope, so it's tiring. So you are able to go like this. Every divers just touch the rope to feel their traction or the stop or everything. So when we find Taxifolia, we have a marker. Its name is Galito in France. It's a new word invented in Port-Cros National Park. So there's a little ball and a screw and a line around the ball. So the diver stops the line. The screw is fixed in the seafloor, and then the ball can go to the surface with a line. And on the surface, the boat localizes the buoy with a GPS. And the boat and the surface team follow the route of the divers with large bubbles. And in order to draw the area covered, the line do this line and this zone and this zone and this zone. And after each dive, we are able to say what zones are done and what zones are to be done. So now eradication, it's need a specific diving. We do not eradicate and protect. It's different. So when we have found Colapax first we dive during 5 to 10 minutes to find other cuttings, other colonies, because one colony in measure sometimes there are other around. So it's important to go to have a look to require take time. And each colony is tagged with a mark. When the subject is shallow and there's low density of Colapax folia, then we proceed by manual cutting with equipment, a garden skate, knife saw, and a fine mesh net, one inside another, the black and the green, the yellow, to avoid fragments of Colapax folia spread. So you can see by manual cutting. It's not easy to do, And we take an extreme care because we had to avoid dissemination of tiny fragments. So other methods like you show when divers are on the bottom and suck the bottom. I'm not sure it's a good way to do. And the second video is the same thing at the first plan, but it's interesting to see the second plan. You see the divers with fin above. We inflate our stabilizing jacket to have a negative buoyancy. So you are sure that we are not disseminate tiny fragments or mud into the water. So it's a good divers, no bad divers that don't know how to dive. When the colony is too great, we use a copper cover. So I listened to your presentation this morning. I think we will use your method. It's better than this, I think, but it works. I don't stay on us. It's not easy to prepare. Then we mark up the surface and stay 3 hours on the bottom. And it's very efficient. Here you can see a movie of the eradication. It's important to put it in the good sense. Here are them. No, and change the sense. We studied the impact of this copper cover when 3 hours after we put the copper cover, everything is dead. All the algae are dead. But the study showed that 6 months later, the biodiversity of algae is the same, except Coleopatra taxifolia. So we make a control in Port-Cros since 2010. We return on the treated zone in June to be sure that the education is a success. Now the results, you can see on the map an example. 2010, we search Coleopatra taxifolia in this zone in green. It was a poor year because it was the first year where we need professional divers. In 2011, the pink zone were prospected. You can see it. So, what is the results? The first eradication in 1994 was a success. We have a problem in this zone, after, and the two eradication was success too. The algae disappear. We have another problem in this zone, and we need 12 years to eradicate the algae, and fighting year after year after year. 12 years to eradicate, but now it's finished in this zone. And the last problem was found in 2009, and we eradicate a point here. So when we dive in 2011, we found nothing. So we thought victory, we win. But when we return in 2012, after I've controlled the zone 3 times, and there was no Colapataxifolia. I was there, I'm sure. We found in the same place algae. So we have a problem. We don't know why the algae is come back 3 years later. In Port-Cros, here we have the prospected zone in pink, and we found the algae here in 2011. So we are sure the algae is not on the diver zone, and it's under control near the zone, and on the third zone we want no Colapataxifolia. So we publish each year the results of our research in our publication, Scientific Reports of National Park. You will find in the volume 24 a paper in French, sorry, but in good French, not in bad English, about all I've said, all I've explained you. So if you want to keep it, no problem, it's online too. And each year, it's volume 26. You have 2 pages for Port-Cros and Port-Cros where we explain what happened. The needs, human, material, and financial. It's 13,000 euros per year, and investment, but no, perhaps we won't need copper cover. I hope. And these financial needs are covered by Natura 2000 program. So if you have the Natura 2000 program, you could be helped by this financial. In the volume 24, you will find a paper, and we try to summarize in one figure what are the things that's important for us to fight again the invasion. There are 4 items, and we have a code of color. So I show you the figure, but don't read it. It's just for explaining that we have tried to summarize everything and show what essential, high, or average. It's just zoom. That's hand. Thank you.